Let's get back to Robert Luna from Shorevest. And Rob, I'm sure you were listening in to that report from Contessa. You own Wynn. How are you approaching that stock, given the challenges in Macau that we were just talking about?
Yeah, so it's a very new position for us, just something we entered over the last few weeks. So, our view obviously is, just as she was mentioning, this is a best-in-breed company. If you look at the caliber of the gamer that comes here into the U.S. market, the average spend per customer there, this is at the top of the food chain there. We like to buy best-in-breed companies at a discount. The stock's down 40% year to date. It's very rarely that you're able to get that. Now, if you look at the latest report, you do see their domestic operations doing very well, above expectations. What caused them to miss, though, is exactly what you pointed out, Macau. And that's kind of, the wild card, and if you will, in trying to understand what's going to go on with Wynn. So this is a very interesting time. Want to see what's going to happen here. We do have some comfort right now in the fact that we've had such a big pullback. So a lot of this was known. A lot of this, we believe, is priced into the stock. But just like we did, we took a very small position just recently. We'll dollar cost average into the company. So anyone who's looking at getting some exposure to this, that's probably the same type of strategy that I'd recommend for them as well.
Got it, Rob. Thanks for that clarity. The elephant in the room, of course, is China. And from a policy point of view, what everyone is talking about is the Communist Party Congress later on this year, and what Xi Jinping has to say about potentially relaxing or even repealing zero COVID. If that were to happen, that would be a tipping point, wouldn't it? To buy China.
It would be huge. And I didn't mean to sidestep the question you had earlier about the Chinese internet companies, that some of which are trading, like Alibaba, at a very, very attractive rate. And I think if that were to happen, you could see a huge rally in a lot of these names. I personally have been out of those names, but would also be interested in buying those names if we were to see that happen. It's just very unusual when you look at the Communist Party and what needs to happen there in terms of keeping the economy going, that they've taken such a stringent policy. Whether or not that's the right stand, I guess we'll continue to see play out. But if that happens, anyone that's doing business over there is going to be greatly appreciative of that.
Rob, can I flip gears entirely and bring in the crypto price action, which is strongly correlated with the NASDAQ? The Ethereum merge, that could be something of a game changer. But looking at the macro environment and the higher rates environment as well, is it hard for crypto to rally?
Yeah, it's really hard to own crypto here. As you mentioned, I think there was a lot of falsification about this being the new hedge, the new gold. So a lot of people are running into that. But as you rightly pointed out, it's been a pretty much one-for-one correlation with the NASDAQ. It's been extremely volatile, has not been a store of value. And I think, the real use case for cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, is really the build out of the metaverse. And I kind of look at, cryptocurrency in general, like internet stocks in the early 90s. You know that there's a use case for it. You know that it's going to happen. You don't know exactly how that's going to happen. The fact that there is a finite supply of Bitcoin, that is, especially when you're seeing what's going on with governments around the world printing more and more currency, is very attractive. But I don't think right now, if you're looking for speculative assets, when you have names like Meta, when you have names like Google, Amazon, these big, huge, profitable technology companies, growth companies trading at such a big discount, I'd rather put my money there long term than, say, Bitcoin or Ethereum.
And Rob, very finally, I just want to tee up our next guest. It's Garrett Nelson from CFRA. He's going to be talking about EVs and the Detroit Auto Show. Have you got a line on Tesla?
Well, I think Tesla is an interesting play right here. I spoke before on the mandate in the next few years for all cars in California, and I expect a lot of states to follow suit to go to the EV mode. You can't bring new gas-powered vehicles in here. I think is going to be a tremendous tailwind for Tesla. Tesla is very hard to value. It's also, as you know, a cult stock with a cult following. So I think it's going to be one of those assets when the market turns, when you start to see people favor growth again. I definitely think Tesla is going to be a leader, and there's more than likely 20 to 30% upside when that happens. That being said, just like Amazon in its early days, you're never going to buy it at a discount. You're never going to buy it at a cheap valuation because you're buying the vision of an extraordinary visionary in Elon Musk. And so I think for people with a longer term perspective, most of which should have at least a small position of Tesla in their portfolio.
Brilliant. Rob, and very, very finally, how do you approach energy and the oil majors in an environment where the EU is imposing a windfall tax? Do you continue to buy the majors for the dividend?
I don't think so, Sri. I think I'm one of the people here at this point. I own Chevron. I actually sold it earlier this year. I just think, again, we just talked about Tesla. For that same reason, being fossil fuels definitely are going to be here in the short run, but longer term, I think that's a dying sector. It's something I don't want to be in, and those dividends that look great today might not be safe later on down the line. Valuations have climbed up a little bit. I would not be heavily buying energy stocks right here.
Interesting. Sunset industry. Rob, it's been a great conversation. Thank you very much indeed for those insights and perspectives. You take care. Robert Luna there.